Well, Turkish, I can't believe what I've just witnessed. PSV 1, Arsenal 7. And of course, you predicted that, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got 3 points on the prediction table. Positive.
No, but in all reality, that was, no one saw that coming, right? No one saw that coming.
Nah, not that. Not that level of performance with the problems we've got injury-wise and the problems we've got in terms of playing style-wise, in terms of chance creation. Tonight, none of that was evident at all. Clinical, created chances, put the ball in the back of the net 8 times actually. Rice was unlucky with his one, just offside. But one of our best performances of the season, and one of our best away from home in the Champions League in the Emirates era for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I've got to ask a question though. Some people were suggesting in the comments when we did the watch along, were we that good or were PSV that bad?
No, we was good. Both things can be true. PSV were bad, but at the same time, that first half, they had the first big chance after Rice's goal was disallowed. They hit the crossbar with, really, if we're talking XG, that should have been 0.99. He should be burying that. And they had another chance with a header. That first half could have ended 3-3 if they was as clinical as we was. I think we had 3 shots, 3 goals in that first half. But it wasn't to be. And aside from that, they faded in that second half. I thought we might get something different for them. 3-1 down, they got a goal before half-time. Gave them some life in the fixture. But we just took the game on. We came out the better side and we put it to bed. And PSV, that first half, bit of gusto, it all went dead in the second.
Take away the obvious positive, which is that we won the game 7-1 and it's looking like, pretty much into the next round against one of the Madrid teams. What do you think was the biggest positive?
The goals, the various goal scorers. We need people to, there's often a question of get him on the score sheet, eat when there's food to be eaten, and tonight we did that. 6 different players scored? Yeah. Odegaard scored 2. Yeah, 6 different players scored. That's the biggest positive of the evening for me. Just a better performance, win behind us, something positive to build on now. We've got winnable games coming up. I think the excuses of injuries are now kind of, even leading up to this game, behind us. We all wanted to see something different. Credit to Mikel here because, first and foremost, before we got into any of the players, I said a lot of tonight's on him, how he does, firstly, the lineup and how that lineup performs. The lineup, he went pretty much like for like, as we've been seeing last couple of games, but the performance was far from like for like. Now you could lean on PSV not being as good, but you've got a job to do. We're away from home in the Champions League against a team that knocked out Juventus. You've got to be on guard, and that's what we've done. So the biggest positive, the goals and the performance is the biggest positive, and the goal scorers and the amount of goals we scored is up there with it.
And you mentioned players under a bit of pressure coming into this game. I think 2 players that were under a bit of pressure, the captain Martin Odegaard and Leandro Trossard, both scored tonight. But let's talk about Martin Odegaard. He scored 2 goals tonight. I saw in the comments in the first half, I thought perhaps a little unfairly, a lot of people were coming for him in the comments saying that the first half wasn't good enough and he was basically trashing him. But in that second half, man, he really stepped up. What's your thoughts on Martin Odegaard tonight?
First half, I don't think he was good enough in the first half. That wasn't harsh because we expect a lot from Martin in the second half. We got what we expect. There was more space to work into, which helps him for sure, but he was a lot more direct. Even the second goal is proof that sometimes shoot. It wasn't the greatest shot in the world, but sometimes shoot because who knows? And in this scenario, it went in, he got his second goal. So for me, Martin picked it up in the second half. He needed that. That's his best 45 minutes for a little while now. It's about building on it now. All we've got is this competition. We've got a couple games in the Premier League, around it or coming up now, and the second leg against PSV, which is a formality now. Win those games, go for it. But let's see more of this, where it felt like a handbrake was off a little bit. That's what it felt like. It felt like we was a lot quicker, zipped the ball about, a lot smoother. The transition was, quick. And lo and behold, we create more chances, we create more problems, and we score more goals.
And of course, Ifo Anieri continues to defy logic with his performances. I thought he was brilliant again tonight. Scored a goal, looked dangerous every time he got the ball. I mean, what's your thoughts on Ifo Anieri tonight?
Quality. Another goal, Champions League for him. For me, Ranieri, I've said what I've said already. Quality, big talent. taken his opportunities this season. We've got a gem on our hands. It's how we manage that gem. And at this moment in time, he's our most exciting attacker. He's the one we look at, and when he gets the ball, you're on the edge of your seat a little bit because he can produce. We've seen him produce across the season in the opportunities he's been given. So, big up Ethan, man. Lewis Skelly made the transition into the first team earlier. I always credited his maturity. Same for Nwaneri. His maturity is probably one of his best attributes. And when you look at how good he is on the ball, dribbling, how direct he is, his left foot, I think the maturity being up there with all that quality, that's going to be a great player for years to come. And hopefully we can, make this the home that players like him deserve and players like Saka deserved a few years ago, continue building on it. It's not about putting everything on Ethan now. He's still a teenager. He's still going to be a teenager next season. And we are aiming to go win the majors. That's what we're aiming to do this year, or was aiming to do this year. That's what we're going to be aiming to do next year. So Ethan will be a big part of the side going into next season. But I also think we need to make sure we protect and learn from past mistakes with our young players.
And talking about winning the majors, it was interesting that yourself and Christian, who was also on the watch along, you had a little interesting back and forth. Christian was suggesting that, when we play like this, we can go on and win the Champions League. You wasn't quite as convinced, but after a win like that, are you thinking maybe we do have a chance, or are you still of the view that we've got no chance to win the Champions League?
Listen, people are funny. I've never said we've got no chance, right? I've seen worse teams win the Champions League.
But to be fair, you did laugh when he said it.
I did laugh. But if you let me talk, then I can explain myself.
That's why I'm asking the question.
Here we go. I laughed because it caveated with, if you don't think we're going to win the Champions League, and then it stopped there. If you don't think what? Because I don't think we are going to win it because of the situation we're left in. That doesn't mean if someone thinks we're going to win it. I find it funny considering the situation we're in, but I've seen worse teams win it, right? So who knows, right? But at the same time, positivity, blind faith, that kind of, that support, that true, no holds barred support, yeah? It's needed, but at the same time, so is accountability. And the club haven't been left in the best position to win this Champions League, to win a trophy this season. So now we've won the first leg against PSV and we're going to go through, right? It feels good right now. But we haven't left ourselves in a great position moving on to a Real or Atletico Madrid. If we pass them, it's, I think, Liverpool or Aston Villa, or one of them. If we pass them, it's a Barcelona, potentially. So pardon my pessimism, but I feel like with the squad we've got right now, we're not in the position to win the Champions League. You ask me again if we're in a semi-final after beating Real and first leg we're beating Liverpool, then it's a different story. But as we sit here now, as we stand here now, I can't forget the last two games. I'm not a memory card that's just been erased. Like that pain is still very much around here. So yeah, it's still early days.
Now listen, the reason why I asked you a question, I'm not trying to catch you out. It's an interesting debate because when Christian said that, and I'm going to get Christian's views on this again a bit later, in the comments, a lot of people were coming for him straight away saying, oh, don't be silly, don't be ridiculous. But by the end of the game, it was interesting that a lot of people say, you know what? We play like this with the belief, with the confidence, we do have a chance. Worse teams have won the Champions League than Arsenal.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. So that's why I thought it was worth pursuing it with you. Anyway, looking forward, that's the Champions League. Looking forward, just finally, another big game ahead, the weekend.
Big game?
Sorry?
Big game?
Yeah, Man United, Arsenal's always a big game. I mean, obviously, Man United are nowhere near the team they've been in recent years, but I think the occasion will still be a big game. Super Sunday, Arsenal versus Man United. You know what I mean? All the eyes of the football world will be on it. How do you think we're fixed for that?
BT might need to hire you to do the PR for the game because...
Hey, I don't come cheap.
Man United are near relegation. Our title chances have faded. That game on Sunday is a game for us to build on this performance today, on the chemistry today, on the attacking side of things that we've shown today. That's what Sunday's about. In terms of big game, the league's done.
Yeah, the league's gone, but it can still be a big game.
That's my answer.
Okay, anyway, listen, thanks, Turkish. Always honest and forthright as always, even if you do chat a lot of...